Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the Master Pyraminx. Now I've actually gotten several requests for this, and I bought one a few months ago, and but it was just recently that I learned how to solve it, just probably in the last week or so. I looked at a few different videos on how to do it, and there are definitely some more complicated methods in my opinion. The method that I found was really easy for me. I was able to learn it in just, a couple hours. I did a few solves and I had it down. The algorithms that we're going to be using are pretty simple. They're easy to remember. So yeah, this puzzle is surprisingly easy. It's easier than I thought it was going to be. There's really nothing complicated about it. So I'll go ahead and give it a scramble and we'll get going. Alright, I think this is good enough. Now, the very first thing you want to start with are the 4 tips. And remember, just like on the Pyraminx, they're bound to these ones around them, so just turn them until they match up. That's all you have to do. And that's where you want to start. Alright. Now, I like to start with the yellow face. You can start with whichever one you want, but to me, the yellow is just easier to see. So, same general idea of why we normally start with the white face on the regular cube. So, you might be asking, well, how do I figure out the yellow face? Because these centerpieces, they're able to move around. Well, the way that you know is you look at these tips. And if it's got yellow on it, then you know that that's one of the ones that faces the yellow side. So here I've already got 2 that are facing the same way. Does this one have yellow? It does not. Okay, so that means this one has yellow. So we just need to turn these tips so that the yellow is facing in. So this will be our yellow side. Now in the method that I use, we're going to do the center pieces last. That'll be the very last step. So don't worry about the center pieces at all until we get to the very end. So first thing I'm going to do is solve the whole yellow face except for the centerpiece. So now that we have the tips facing in, we're ready to move on. Next, we're going to solve the center edges, I think is what you could call them. So that's these pieces here. Now that's one piece with 2 colors on it. Okay, so don't worry about these other edges. We're going to do that later. So there's only 3 of them, and you can see that the red and yellow are here. But what we have to do is get those on the right side. Now, since we've already got these tips facing in, so we know that this is going to be the red side, and then this will be the green. So just worry about the bottom right here. So even if that was turned, it doesn't matter. We'll worry with that later. So just worry about this bottom layer. So again, that'll be the green side. This will be the blue. So what you want to do is look up here in this second layer and find a piece that has this yellow on it. Here I've got the yellow and the green. Now you want to turn it so that the green is how do I explain this? You want it to be part of the green side, but you want the yellow to be facing you. So you would not do it here because the yellow is not facing you. You would do it on this side. So it's so that piece is on a corner with green, but the yellow is facing, if that makes sense. Okay, so you hold the piece with the yellow facing you, and then whatever side the yellow is on, that side you bring down first. So just bring that side down, then bring the other side down, then bring that first side back up, and then bring the second side back up. And you see what that did was that put the green on the green side and the yellow on the yellow face. So let me show you another example just to make sure. I know that explanation can be a little bit confusing. So Alright, so this one's got yellow and blue. This would be our blue side. But we want the yellow facing us. So I'm going to move it to the other corner where it's still on the blue corner, but the yellow is facing me. So this time the yellow is on the right. So bring that side down, and then bring that side down, then bring the first side up, and then the second side up. And there you have the blue and yellow. Okay, so the last one we have to do is the green and red. So let's move it over. Well, here's the red side, but we want the yellow facing us. So I'll put it on that corner, or that edge. Okay, the yellow's on the left, so bring that one down first, and then the other side, and then up, and then up. And there we have it. Okay, so remember, we're not worried about these edges here. That just happens to be in the right spot, and so does that one, but that's just a coincidence. The only ones that you should definitely see yellow are up here, 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 and then these three. Okay, so now we're ready to move on. So next, we're going to finish out the rest of these edge pieces, and as I said a minute ago, we've already got a couple of them are already in the right spots. So now let's turn the yellow face where it's down, and what we're going to look for is, I'm going to start in the second layer. That's how I like to do it. So look for any piece in the second layer that has that yellow on it, any of these edge pieces. Now this time, match up that other color with the proper side. So green and yellow, I've got the green matched with the green side. And this is really simple. Just bring this side up and then bring that piece over to be inserted right there. Okay, so now let's look at the next one where here's a yellow and red. So let's turn it over where the red is matched to the red side. So bring that piece up. Bring that edge over and insert it down like that. Okay, so here's a yellow and blue. Let's turn it over so the blue is on the blue side. Bring that other edge up. Move that over in its spot to be inserted down like that. Alright. Now, it just so happened on my example that I did not have any in the third layer, but let me just show you what that would look like. Alright, so let's just say that we did all the ones in the second layer, and now we have one in the third layer. Okay, we're going to do the same concept, have the blue match the blue side, but instead of bringing just that piece up, we're going to bring that whole side up like that. Then move it over and bring it down. So you can do the same thing for any others that are in the third layer. Alright, so now you should have all the yellows done. The center may or may not be done. We don't care, but just make sure that all the ones on that first row or the first layer are completed, and then we're ready to move on. Okay, so next we're going to be looking at these second layer center edges, I guess you could call them, and you're going to have one of two situations. Either they are all completed, so for example, you see that this one is already good because the red is matched with the red and the blue is matched with the blue. Now you could have all three already done, in which case you'd move on, or you could have my situation where one is good, this red and blue is good, but the other two are backwards. So the red's on the green side, the green's on the red side, green's on the blue side, blue's on the green side. So this one's backwards, this one's backwards. So if you have that, hold it with the two that are backwards facing you, and then you're going to do this algorithm. And then take a look and you'll see that the two that were backwards are now fixed and the one in the back is still as it was. Now again, this top layer, we haven't made it this far yet. I like to just kind of keep that one facing the right way, just so, because it's a little easier, less confusing. So, you know, even if you don't have the tip matched up, it's okay. But just make sure that all three of those are good, and they are here. And then you're ready for the next step. Next, we're going to worry about these second layer edges. Now, this part takes a little bit of getting used to, but what I like to do is start with the third layer, and I want to look for pieces that are matched on one side, like this green, but not matched on the other. That tells me that this piece is not belonging up here. Okay, so that means that this piece needs to come down. Now for this move we're about to do, what it does is it moves this piece, a piece from like the right side to the second layer on the left side, or vice versa. It could take a piece from here and move it down here. So let's just start with this piece. So we know that this piece is in the wrong spot and it needs to go down to the second layer down here. And that'd be the green and the red side. In order to do that, just take this corner here and move it down, because this is our destination where we want it to go. So we're now going to move it down in that spot, and then move that piece up, and then move that piece back up. And you can see that we inserted it here, but we also messed up a yellow piece. Okay, no big deal. Just remember how we did that earlier when we were inserting those pieces down there. You just move this side up, move it over, and then move it back down. So we reinserted that piece, and what we originally started out to do is in the right spot. Alright, so let's look for another piece in the third layer. Here's one. See how this blue is right but this green is not? So that means this piece is going to need to go down here. Alright, so take your destination where you want it to go and swing it down, and then take the piece that's wrong, swing it in that spot, bring that side up, bring that back up, and then just fix that yellow piece that we messed up. Okay, so next, let's see what else we have. So this one is wrong, this green and red, and the one that needs to go here is going to be a blue and red, so that's going to be up here. Okay, so just take the one where you want it to go, move it down, take that piece, move it down, and move that up and swing it back, and then of course you want to fix the yellow. Okay, now you might get something like this on a rare occasion. So if you look at the top layer, everything's good, or everything looks good anyway, and down here all these pieces are just in the wrong places. Now if that happens, then what you're going to need to do is just use any piece from the top, it really doesn't matter, and you're going to move it down and kick out one of these pieces that are in the wrong spot. So let's just use this one because it really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to move it down and then move a piece down to kick it out and fix that yellow. And now we can kind of take a look again and see what we need to do. Alright, so do we see any pieces that need to be moved down? Well, see, this one's in the right spot, but all the other ones, none of the colors match up. So it can be a little confusing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this one over so that blue matches up with the blue side. And no, I'm not going to do that. Let's see. I need a blue and a green down here, and it's over here. Let's see. I need a blue and a red here. Okay, I'm going to do this. So here's the blue and the red. And since the red is matched up with this side, I can move it down in this place. So I'm going to swing that down, replace it with that blue and red, bring it back up, and then fix that yellow. Okay. Now we have something similar to what we had earlier. See, we've got a green that matches here, but that blue is not right. So we can move it down here. So you can see that on this step, sometimes you got to use your head just a little bit. You know, if you need to move one down and kick something out. Alright, so now here's that yellow and or the green and red rather. So I'll move it down and then fix that yellow. And there we go. So remember, we're not worried about this right now. Okay, we were only worried with that piece, and that piece. Those three there. It just so happens that my third layer is complete, but I'll show you how to fix that in just a second. Okay, so you will probably see something like this. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to worry about this last layer, or this last layer here, because remember that tip is already completed. So you're going to need to look, and you're going to see one of, well, three situations. Number one, it's already done, which I had a second ago. Number two, these three pieces need to be rotated counterclockwise, or number three, they need to be rotated clockwise. So remember, match up these colors with the right sides, like I have here, and then look and see, do I need to go clockwise or counterclockwise? Well, in my case, I need to go counterclockwise, because if you see the green and red here, it needs to go counterclockwise because there's green and red there. That green and blue needs to go here, and this between the green and blue sides. So I need to go counterclockwise. So if that's the case, you're going to do this algorithm. Whoops. Like that. Alright, so let me show you what you need to do if you need to go the other way. Okay, so if you look here, I've got these colors matched up, remember. So this time my pieces need to go clockwise. See, green and blue need to go to green and blue, green and red need to go to green and red, so clockwise. Now, this algorithm is exactly the same except for one difference. Instead of doing up moves, you're going to do up prime moves. So let me show you this. So your algorithm for clockwise is this. Okay. Now the way I remember it is on this step. If you need to go clockwise, then your up move is the opposite. It's an up prime. If you need to go counterclockwise, your up move is the opposite. It's an up move. Alright, so after you rotate them clockwise or counterclockwise, everything should be done except for the centers, which would be the last step. Okay, so hopefully you'll see this, where all four centers are wrong. That's the easiest situation. So hopefully you'll see this. So I'll show you it first. Now what you want to do is you want to pick the sides like this where they're backwards. So the blue and the yellow are just flipped. And you want to hold it where one's in the front and one's in the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to hold it like this. Now I could turn it the other way and do it like this. It doesn't matter. So one's in the front and one's in the bottom. And then you do this. Then you do it a second time and a third time, and you'll be done. So that's the first situation. Let me show you the next one. Now, the only other situation you can have is if one side is complete and 3 are not. Now, if this is what you have 2, I guess, sub options. Either option 1, they need to go clockwise, or option 2, which is what I have, they need to go counterclockwise. So just like earlier, you can see that this yellow needs to be here, so that would be a counterclockwise move. So it's going to be virtually the exact same algorithm we just did, just with one exception. And I'll show you that in just a second. So hold it with the completed face down. And we're going to do that same algorithm as before, except instead of using a little up move, we're going to use a big up move. And the up move is going to coincide with which way we're rotating. So on the last step, it was opposite. If I needed to go clockwise, I had to do an up prime. Well, this time if I go clockwise, I do a regular up. So whereas last step it was inverted, this step it will not be. And on the last step we used a little up. This time we're going to use a big up because we have to make sure we're moving these centers. Okay, so hopefully that will kind of help you get your head wrapped around it. So the completed face is down, and again I need to go counterclockwise, so I'm going to do this. There we go. Okay. Now, you'll see that what happened was we messed up this last layer. So now we're going to have to back up and we're going to have to fix that. So these have to go counterclockwise. So let's back up and do that last step to fix those, which will be this algorithm. Okay, now what that did was that got us back to where all 4 need to be fixed. And then of course just do that step from before. So this is to be the last situation you see where this time if you look at all the centers, they need to go clockwise. So again, hold the completed face down, and it doesn't matter which way you hold the rest of it. So we can just hold it like this, and then you're going to do this. So remember, clockwise. Okay, and then again we've got to, don't forget to match up those kind of center edges there, and then we got to see, do I need to go clockwise to fix these or counterclockwise? In this case I need to go clockwise, so we got to do that step from before to do that. Okay, so hopefully that gave us 4, just like that. Okay, so just like I showed you from before, get the 2 that are flipped, hold 1 in front, 1 on the bottom, and then do that move 3 times. And there you go. Okay, I think I've covered everything. At least I've tried hard to cover every situation you could see. So that's it. Pretty easy, like I said. I really enjoy it. It's one that you can pick up and do in just a couple of minutes. So I had a good time learning this one. I'm glad that a couple of you guys had requested me to do a tutorial, so I'm glad you did. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.